Let's start with the introduction of the Python. Basically, what is a Python? Python is a programming language. What's a programming language? What's the Python? Before starting with deep concept related to Python, let's have a quite examples in which it will be easy to understand basically what's a programming language. I myself, okay, I'm a human, and if I need to communicate with any of the persons or any of the group of the people, that should be common between both of it. That's nothing but common languages we need to have. Like if I know English and if the opposite person knows the French, we can't able to communicate. Like if I need something, then even I can't able to get it because we don't have any common language to communicate what I need or what you want. Yes, the same thing happens with our system too. Like I know English, Hindi, French, Spanish, but the computer, but a system can't able to understand these all languages because it has some of the languages in which that we need to understand, and we need to communicate with it so that we can get the output, so that we can execute something. So for that, the programming language comes into a picture. Basically, the Python also came to the picture because the programming language, there is a list of the programming language, there is n number of programming language, but the Python is the most widely used languages because the application related to it and the benefits that the other languages definitely doesn't occur. Let's start with it. So the three more benefits the Python has, but the other coding language, the other programming language doesn't have. It's nothing but it's easy to code. Okay. The syntax, if we will check with the syntax of Python as well as if we will compare with any other languages, definitely it's very easy to code. Now I'll give one quite example. If you will ask any of the programmer, any of the advanced programmer, any of the most technical person, if you ask that why you are using Python, they definitely say the first line that whatever that I have mentioned. It's easy to code. Even they will be well known with other languages too, but they prefer Python because it's easy to code. Second thing is scripting, and it supports scripting as well as a object-oriented programming language. Because like I'm using a code in which like for example the code that I'm using might be already generated by some other person, that I'm using the code of someone and I'm generating some of the output from it. Okay, now even I can use my code, okay, and I can save it for some time, and even I can use it for the future, like whether I will be using or not, but I can save it and I can use it in the future. The same thing, like I have generated some kind of the code, some kind of output too, but in future some of the user or some of the programmer need to generate or need to get some other output, even they can use it. So it's so flexible with the Python code. Okay, so it supports a scripting as well as an object-oriented. It's basically the uses of it is nothing but it's a reusability is the most wide use of the OPS concept. It's free to use, free to access with any. Like in some of the programming language, there will be a certain amount that we need to pay monthly, weekly, or something yearly. There will be certain packages that we need to do. But over here, Python, it's free to use. Anyone can use it, any system. And this is the famous ID that all the Python programmer used to use. So the VS Code and the PyCharm is the most programmer use this PyCharm and VS Code ID. So there is some more ID also, like Jupyter, a Notebook, a Spider, Google Colab, etc. Okay, now I'm executing this Python world in various number of language. Even you can see a difference. Like as I've said, it is easy to code. Now we can play a different play a role over here. It's executing the same output, like hello world only it's printing, but in different languages like Python, Ruby, R, MATLAB, JavaScript, like in different languages printing, but the output will be same. So we can directly see that print, it's nothing but to print something, right? In English language, the same thing it's doing in Python also. So it is very easy to access and even very easy to memorize the part, the syntax part, but the other languages is quite difficult because large number of code is there, okay, large number of lines. Then as a programmer, it is quite difficult to remember most of the syntax. So Python, it's quite easy, and Python is the most demanding language since it's occurred between 1991 itself, but last 10 years it's quite demanding languages that we can say. Now I'm printing one output the output is that we need to add both the elements. Like I'm giving a 10 value 20, we need to add 10 plus 20, it's nothing but 30. So this is only our output is, but the same thing it's printing in Java and Python. You can definitely see a code. Python is very able to easy to read, like a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, and a plus b. But in Java you can see there is a almost 5 lines of the code, and the syntax is quite difficult. Okay, so that's why the Python is most famous, not only for printing two elements, any line of the code. Okay, any output, if you will check, like print the first 10 numbers or printing the first natural number, even numbers, the code line will be definitely easy, and it's very able to easy to read, because it's quite similar to our English language that we usually speak. But the other languages, okay, there will be not quite relation between the execution, like over here public, class, main, over here it's used, but in Python it's very simple. Okay, here is the some of the users benefit. Like Python is both compiled as well as interpreted language. So basically the other languages doesn't support both of it, but the Python especially. Like what's an interpreted language? That let's see about it. It's a source code of the Python program converted into a byte code. Okay, then it's executed by a Python virtual machine. Like it is first compiled and then interpreted line by line. The compiled part gets deleted as soon as the code gets executed in Python, so that the programmer doesn't want to get a complexity, means unnecessary complexity. So, but the other languages actually doesn't support it. It supports a multiple operating system. Okay. As we can say, most of the programmer or most of the users have n number of operating system, like some of them convenient with the Windows, Linux, Mac, etc. But it supports any operating system, so it's the major benefit of it. And it relies on indentation. Yes, it's true, it relies on indentation, white space, punctuation. It's the most important thing while doing a syntax code, etc. But the other languages has a more number of indentation white, means it's comparatively it's quite harder in other languages, but in Python it's a little bit easy compared to other languages. So Python can connect to a database system, it can read and modify the file. Okay, so basically the database is nothing but to store the data. So we have n number of data, but in Python we can read it and modify the file very easily. Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex mathematics. Any complex mathematics, the Python can easily perform very easily. Okay, there is a quite a mathematics packages also. Okay, by that also we can find it very easy. And basically it is easy to learn to all non-technical person. Like if any user from a non-technical background or from a technical background, they usually choose the languages as a Python, because for a technical person they usually think like if it will be more convenient to use Python. And for non-technical person also, rather than learning some other languages, Python is quite easy and it's quite simple, right? So definitely even they will be also choosing the Python. So the common criteria is Python. It has inbuilt libraries and installation find easy. Okay, in Python there is a lot number of inbuilt libraries also for data visualization, interpretation, etc. things. It has already inbuilt libraries. But if that is not in libraries, or if we need to install anything, that will be also find easy, because within a command prompt or the ID that we are using, directly we can do the pip install and we can install it. And even if I have created some of the libraries and if any other users need it, same thing that can be supported in their system also. So it's used in that way also. So here are the many industries using Python. So I can't able to say that this all industries used only Python, okay, and only Python is supporting. No, it's absolutely not. Python is used because there is a quite number of benefits uses rather than other programming as. And in which Python we can say that the finance, trading, scientific, etc. things, even they can use some other languages also, but Python find it little bit easy than other. So the non-technical person, technical person, everyone uses this. So now in any of the career, if we are choosing in any of the non-technical background, still they ask the one of the requirement as Python, because a small things can be run or can be executed very easily by using a Python for that purpose. So everyone, it's very easy to learn. easy to learn to easy to code, its readability, it's quite easy than other languages. Okay,